It was late, and the streets were nearly empty. The kind of quiet that feels unnatural, like something is lurking in the shadows. I was heading home after a long day, cutting through the alley to save time. That's when I saw it, a phone lying on the ground, screen faintly glowing. It looked old, beat up, like it had been tossed there and forgotten. I paused, glancing around. No one was in sight. Against my better judgment, I bent down and picked it up. It felt cold, almost too cold. And then it rang. The screen displayed unknown caller. I hesitated, my finger hovering over the answer button. Something about it felt wrong, but curiosity got the best of me. I pressed answer. Hello? There was a pause. Then, a voice, a low, calm voice, came through. I see you found my phone. My heart skipped a beat. I looked around, half expecting someone to step out of the shadows. Who is this? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. The voice on the other end chuckled softly. Doesn't matter who I am. But if I were you, I'd be careful. Someone's coming for you. My grip tightened on the phone. What? Who? The voice remained calm, almost detached. You are in danger. You need to leave. Now. My pulse quickened, and I instinctively looked around the alley again. The shadows seemed deeper, darker, like they were closing in. Who are you? What's going on? The line crackled. You don't have much time. Run. Before I could respond, the call cut off, plunging the alley back into silence. My hands were shaking as I stared at the phone, trying to make sense of what had just happened. I should have dropped the phone and walked away. But instead, I started running. The alley felt longer than usual, every step echoing louder than it should. I kept glancing over my shoulder, but I didn't see anyone. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching me. The phone buzzed again in my hand. I looked down, another call from unknown caller. My fingers were trembling, but I answered. You were too slow, the voice said, almost playfully. It's getting closer. Who the hell are you? I shouted, spinning around. The alley was still empty, but the sense of dread was growing stronger. The voice ignored my question. It likes to play with its prey. You have to keep moving. You don't want it to catch you, do you? I didn't wait for more. I ran, my feet pounding against the pavement as I bolted toward the streetlights at the end of the alley. The entire time, I could hear it, footsteps behind me, soft but steady, always just out of sight. I reached my apartment, slamming the door behind me. My chest was heaving, my breath ragged. I checked the phone again, but there was no call history, no missed calls, nothing. It was like the calls had never happened. I threw the phone on the couch, pacing back and forth, trying to make sense of it. My head was spinning. Who was the voice on the other end? And what was following me? Then, just as I was starting to calm down, there was a knock at the door. My blood ran cold. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. The knock came again, louder this time, more insistent. I stepped closer to the door, my heart hammering in my chest. I looked through the peephole. But no one was there. Just the empty hallway. I backed away, my hands shaking. That's when the phone buzzed again. I didn't want to answer, but I couldn't stop myself. The same calm voice came through. You got lucky this time. But next time. You won't. The call ended, leaving me in the deafening silence of my apartment. I didn't sleep that night. It was a few days later when I saw the news. I hadn't left my apartment since that night, still haunted by the voice and the footsteps. But what I saw on the screen made my blood turn to ice. A headline flashed across the TV, "Notorious serial killer arrested, police reveal his method of luring victims." The report detailed how the killer had left an old phone at the scene, luring unsuspecting people into picking it up. Once they answered, he tracked them, using the phone to toy with them before making his move. The image on the screen showed the killer being led away in handcuffs. He looked ordinary. Just a regular guy. But the voice. It was the same voice I'd heard through the phone. The reporter explained that the killer had been following his victims for days, making them believe they were being hunted by something supernatural. By the time they realized the truth, it was too late. I dropped the remote, my heart racing. I had escaped. But only because the police had arrested him before he could finish his game with me. I looked at the phone on the couch, the screen now dark. I wasn't the first. And I wasn't supposed to survive.